It's the Tuesday edition of Weather for Weather Geeks, and what a cold morning we had this morning. Of course, temperatures this morning were comparable to what we had a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when we had that extremely cold morning. At the airport, we tied that mark that we had 3 weeks ago. Minus 12 was the low at the Youngstown Warren Airport this morning. But I'm plotting up home weather stations here, showing you how cold it was elsewhere. I'll let the data reload here. I had a minus 16 here in Boardman. That's my weather station. This minus 22 down towards Lisbon, I think that's a little off. It definitely sticks out among some of the other readings. We had a minus 13 nearby down there near Lisbon, minus 12 Columbiana. There's a minus 16 in Minerva, minus 19 over here towards Benton, North Benton. So, that's possible that was realistic. And there's a minus 12 over towards Newcastle, 14 below Elwood City, 12 below up in Howland. And so generally speaking, low temperatures this morning were somewhere between 10 and 17 below zero. And that's not even factoring in the wind, of course, which was, made it quite a bit worse. I'm going to take us away from home for just a second here. I want to point out a pretty significant storm down in the south. We're taking kind of a low view here first, and then I'll pan up. We're, of course, looking at the Gulf Coast region. Here's Florida down here, Tallahassee. Here's Alabama, Georgia, and most of this precipitation that you see on the radar in the south is snow. They've had less than an inch of snow over towards Atlanta today, but it has caused just extreme havoc. They don't have the kind of snow removal equipment in the south that we do up here in the north, and so even an inch of snow can be catastrophic this far to the south. And boy, there's going to be a lot more where that came from. All of this snow is tracking north and east. You have relatives down in the Carolinas. No doubt they know that they're in some trouble here. There's probably going to be a zone in eastern North Carolina down through parts of South Carolina that gets a half a foot or more worth of snow. So, yikes. That's a once in every 10 years kind of storm for them down there. All right, back closer to home. We've had a fair amount of sunshine this afternoon. A lot of the gray coloring that you see here on our view is actually snow cover on the ground as opposed to cloud cover up in the sky. Current temperatures here at the 2 o'clock hour, 3 above at the Youngstown Warren Airport, 4 Newcastle. You get the idea here. It's a little above zero just about everywhere. Here's a look at the wind chills. Minus 12 is the number in Youngstown. Minus 13, minus 16 over towards Akron, Canton. Minus 10 over at the Butler County Airport in Pennsylvania. So the wind chills have recovered a little bit, but it's still just harsh to be outside walking around today. Radar's quiet. Satellite's pretty quiet. We're going to have a mostly clear sky for tonight. That's going to allow temperatures to drop like a rock once again. I'll talk about tonight in just a second. Here's another view of that southern storm where you see the pinks. That's, of course, mixed precipitation or ice. There's going to be a zone where there's going to be big-time freezing rain problems down in the south. You'll notice not much going on upstream away from us, where our weather usually comes from. There's just a lot of cold air. Temperatures are still below zero at this early afternoon hour in much of the upper Midwest. We're going to have a quiet night for tonight here across the Mahoning Valley. Tonight, our surface map is going to show high pressure centered over Zanesville, and with that high nearby, the wind is going to be pretty light tonight. A cold night, the recipe, you need a clear sky usually. You need light winds. And having snow cover definitely helps as well. Snow cover acts like a refrigerant, cooling off the air in the couple of feet or few feet, even several feet above the ground. So we've got fresh snow on the ground. Sky's going to be clear tonight. There's going to be maybe some gusty winds up here along Lake Erie. But for the most part, the winds will be pretty light over land tonight. So, tonight might be pretty similar to last night in terms of overnight temperatures. The European model last night did pretty well. My forecast was not cold enough last night. The other modeling, other than the European, had us dropping down to minus 3, minus 4. I went with minus 7 in my forecast yesterday morning. That wasn't cold enough. And tonight, European has minus 13 here. So, leads me to believe that, this might be the model to go with for the time being. And, minus 10 to minus 12, a good possibility in many backyards once again tonight. Wind chills. Again, not a tremendous amount of wind, but when you have temperatures this cold, you don't need much wind to create really harsh, dangerous wind chills. This minus 32 on the European, I think, is too cold. It's overdone. But I think minus 25 is on the table again tonight. So that's the kind of a wind chill where frostbite can set in 10 to 15 minutes if you have anything exposed. Most of us won't be outside tonight, of course, but if you do need to be outside, and tomorrow morning, if your job requires you to be outside, it's one of those common sense things, once again, where you're going to just need to take the proper precautions. All right, so let's talk about the rest of the week. Wednesday is going to be a fairly sunny day with that high nearby, so no problems on Wednesday other than the cold. Thursday, the cold starts to ease a bit as our high slips off to the east. we're going to get a southwest wind developing on the backside of that high, and while it's not exactly a heat wave, we'll get out of the teens in a lot of places on Thursday with a mixed bag of clouds and sun. Clouds went out by Thursday evening, and here's this weak front slipping through Friday, especially in the morning. Maybe there's just a touch of snow with that. Doesn't look like a big system at all at this point. Then we'll head towards the weekend. Here's Saturday morning, and what we have going on here is a warm front approaching from the south. I am not sure yet what type of precipitation this will be on Saturday. It could be kind of a mixed bag of a lot of things. It may start as snow. It may transition over to kind of a mix of snow and sleet and rain. And then it may actually even transition to all rain by Saturday evening, especially south of Interstate 80. So we'll be fine-tuning this forecast. But Saturday evening, we've got low pressure up over Erie with a cold front back here, but a warm front over here. And in between the cold and the warm front, it may very well be warm enough for a period of just rain by the end of the day on Saturday. But until we get to that point, we could be dealing with the kitchen sink in terms of precipitation types. We've got Groundhog Day and Super Bowl Sunday coming up on Sunday. And locally, weather looks pretty quiet. Here's Sunday afternoon. Maybe there's a flurry. That's it. Over where the Super Bowl is being played in northern Jersey or close to New York City, there may be a rain or a snow shower up through midday on Sunday, but the game itself doesn't start, of course, until 6:30, and by then the precipitation's gone. So the game is going to be dry. As far as temperatures, we're probably talking 30s, dropping then perhaps down below freezing. But sure, it's going to be cold by Super Bowl standards. This is a cold day. You know, the Super Bowl's usually played Miami, Southeast Texas, New Orleans, Arizona. So for the Super Bowl, this is cold, but for New York City, this isn't all that cold for January. So no worries with a blizzard, no worries for extreme cold impacting the big game on Sunday. All right, longer range temperatures. We do have, looks like, warmer weather coming for a few days next week, about a week from right now. And this is the temperature anomaly chart for the 2nd through the 7th of February. So the first half and through the middle of next week. Notice a big warm bulge down here in the southeast, which we're kind of on the edge of here in northeast Ohio. Notice how cold it's going to be out in the west. So it doesn't look all that cold next week. A little reprieve, if you will, from Groundhog Day onwards. After that, though, it looks pretty cold. Models are in pretty good agreement that the axis of cold is going to shift east again. So instead of the axis being out here at the center of the cold air mass, it'll be more in here, leading us to see below average temperatures for, this is from the 9th through the 14th. So the second full week of February probably is going to be colder than the first full week of the month. All right, that's weather for Weather Geeks on this Tuesday. I'll be on 21 News tonight at 6 and 11, a fresh take on your forecast. As always, follow me on social media. I'm Eric WFMJ on Twitter. Put meteorologist in front of my name to find me on Facebook. Click on my Facebook page to see all my stuff. In your news feed on Facebook, you only see about 10 to 15% of the stuff that I post. Facebook decides not to show you the rest. So if you want to see all of it, just click on my page on Facebook and you'll see it all there. Have a great evening.